Yeah, I'm telling you, this book has so much cool information. Like, did you know people didn't even used to have money? Yeah, they used to just barter based on what they had. They'd be like, hey, I have two goats. Do you want to fish? And they would just trade. Oh, I have to go. My fourth graders are here. Bye. Hey guys. I was just telling my friend how cool this book is that we're going to start today. It's all about using money, and I thought that this fit in perfectly with what we've been doing because the last few stories have been all about kids making money, and now we get to learn about money. So let's hop right in. Miss Lawson here. I've missed you guys so much, and I'm so excited to get started. So let me get my screen going here. And we're gonna go ahead and hop right into lesson 1. Can you believe it? To this new book, Using Money. I am so pumped. So we have some vocabulary words today. Value. So value, what something is worth. So my question to you, I think you already know what value means. So I have a question for you. Does a penny or a quarter have more value? Which one is worth more? Which one has more value? So obviously the coin that has the most value is the quarter, right? It would take 25 pennies to equal 1 quarter. So that's what value means. It's what something is worth. Now for allowance. Now allowance is, I used a little example from Lunch Money because we spent so much time reading that book. It says Greg got an allowance from his parents when he cleaned around the house. He saved his allowance instead of spending it. So an allowance is something that some kids get when they do jobs around the house. And if you do those jobs, your parents give you money. So that is what an allowance is. So those are our 2 vocabulary words today, guys. I still am always going to challenge you to try and use those words in a sentence and take them to class with you later on and impress your teacher. Now, what are we learning today? So I'm going to challenge you right now to pause this screen when I'm done talking and do this organizer with me. We are focusing on analyzing main idea and key details. So I already made mine. Sorry, guys. And I made my box up here for my main idea and my 3 key details. So I want you to pause right now and make that yourself so that we can do this together today. So your main idea and your key details. And I like to think of this as like a table, like what my computer's sitting on right now. This is the top of the table, and it needs to be supported by the 3 supporting details. So your table is not going to stand up. Your main idea is not strong enough if there are not 3 details to support it. So that is what we are working on today. So pause right now if you need more time. If you don't, we're going to hop right into our new story. So this story is a little different than what we've been reading together so far. This is actually a nonfiction text, which means it's going to give us information. We're going to learn a lot together. So I wanted to stop for a second and check out this table of contents. I put some big arrows here today to focus on what we're going to be learning about. Today we're going to learn about when did people start using money? Like I was telling my friend, people didn't always have money. They used other ways of trading to get what they wanted. Then the second thing we're going to learn about today is, where do people get money? How do people get money? So how do kids get money? How do adults get money? What do we do? Then I also wanted to draw your attention down to the bottom of the screen right here. In these yellow boxes, it says you can find the answers to solve it questions in the back of the book. So I think tomorrow we have some of those, but we will pop to the back of the book and find the answer. And then down here today, there are going to be some bold words, and they look like this. Some words are shown in bold like this. You can find out what they mean by looking in the glossary on page 46. And the glossary is right here. Page 46. The glossary is always where we find our words, and it's always in the back of the book of our nonfiction text to help us out, because it's always nice when we are learning new words. Now I'm so excited. Man, we have a focus question right off the bat today. So we have that stop sign, and it says, according to the text, how has money changed since ancient times? And ancient. In my class, we like to use ancient and sound old because it's a long time ago. So how has money changed since way back long ago to today? So that's going to be on the next 2 pages. So when did people start using money? Before people used money to pay for things, let me get my arrow, I totally forgot about that. Before people used money to pay for things, they bartered. So bartered is bold, so we could go look it up, but in this story, they gave us what it means, or traded. So that's really nice. I love when stories do that. To get things they needed. For example, a farmer and a fisherman might decide to barter. They would trade crops and fish with no money involved. So the farmer might have crops like wheat or like beans, and then the fisherman obviously has fish, and they're like, hey, and they make a deal. Ancient money, so money a long time ago. So this is where that focus question is going to come in. Around 6000 BCE, so that was super long ago, people started using cows, sheep, and crops as early forms of money. Each region or area assigned values, so values, that word that we're using today, values to these animals and food items. So they said a sheep's worth this much, a cow's worth this much, so they each had a value. For example, 3 bunches of wheat might buy a knife, so a knife is worth 3 bunches of wheat. Now let's read this caption. Early forms of money, such as sheep, were hard to carry around and could not be saved for later use. So let's go here. There were problems with these early forms of money. Animals could get sick and crops could become rotten, so they could not be saved and used later. They were also hard to carry around. As a result, around 1850 BCE, people started using small metal lumps called ingots as money. So we already see a change there. Modern money. Around 640 BCE, the government of Lydia, which is part of present-day Turkey, created the first coins made from metal, such as gold and silver. The coins were stamped with pictures of gods and goddesses. Around 800 CE, so now we're into like our time. So, we're 2020. This was 800. So we're kind of more in our timeline. If it has that B, that means it's before our time. So we started at 0, it's before 0. It came a long time ago. So we're at 800 CE. Paper money was invented in China. These bills have the same value as metal coins, but they were lighter and easier to carry. Instead of carrying around 10 metal coins worth 10 cents each, a person could carry around 1 paper dollar. 1 paper dollar bill. Today, everyone around the world uses money to pay for things they want and need. Each country has its own currency that is made up of different denominations of coins and dollars. So we're going to kind of understand what that is up here. Money from different countries has different names. Several examples are pictured here, including pesos from Mexico, euros from Austria, and shillings from Kenya. So if we look up here, none of those are dollar bills. We've got money from all over the world up here. So that is super cool. So we need to stop and answer that focus question. And I challenge you to see, can you answer it without me? I think you could. So if you've already answered it, that's amazing. Let's see if our answers are the same. So I'm going to look back at the very beginning because we're saying according to the text. So I need to look back in that text. How has money changed since ancient times? Well, at the very beginning, they used cows, sheep, and crops. So that was the very first thing they used money. So I could say in 6000 BCE, they used cows, sheep, and crops. Then they decided to change, because it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to keep crops and animals as money. So on this page, in 640, let's start here. In 1840, people started using metal lumps called ingots. So that's the first thing they did, animals, then they did ingots, and then in 640, they switched to, in Lydia, they created the first coins made from metals such as gold and silver. They were stamped with pictures of gods and goddesses. And if you look over here, that kind of reminds me of our coins that we use today. We don't have gods and goddesses on them, but we have important people from our history. So all these people were important to us, and same with them with their gods and goddesses. Now we've done those three, and now we're getting to the more of what we use today. Now in 800 CE, right here, we are starting to use paper money, and that was invented in China. I didn't know that. That's really cool. So paper money was invented in China. These bills had the same value as metal coins. So it makes me think, would I rather carry around 100 pennies? Would I rather carry around a dollar bill? It's a lot lighter and a lot easier to carry around $1 bill than 100 pennies. So I'm really glad they invented the dollar bills. So that's the answer to our focus question. Good job, guys. Let's keep reading. So now we're on to the second part of our reading today. Where do people get money? How do we get it? Adults receive paychecks from their jobs or returns, money earned on their investments. This is the money they use. Where do you get the money that you can use? So as a kid, pause for a second. Where do you get money that you use? I know you can look ahead and kind of see, but let's see if you do the same thing that they say. Gifts. Have you ever received cash in a birthday card? Has a grandparent ever mailed you a check as a Christmas present? When you are young, gifts might be one of your main source of money. Allowance. This is one of our words for today, as you see over here with our kiddos. Do you get a weekly or monthly allowance? Do your parents pay you for doing regular jobs such as cleaning your room? Every family is different. If your allowance is small or if you do not get an allowance, do not worry. There are other ways to get your own money. So down here, what can you do with your money? You can save it. Put money aside for big expenses or spending later. You can spend it, buy things you really want or need. You can invest it. You can use your money to make more money, or you can share it. Give your money away to help others. So there's a lot of options you can do with your money. Now, I wanted to pause for a second because we had two bold words on this page. And one of our focuses today was using that glossary. So I wanted to check and see, can we find investments and can we find check in our glossary? So if you haven't used a glossary, it's alphabetical order, so it's really easy. Check comes first in our glossary. So I'm gonna check A, B, C. Oh, here's check. So a check, a written document that tells a bank to pay a person or business a certain amount of money from another person. So if you get a check, it's made out to you and it's basically saying, hey, I want to give Mrs. Lawson this much money. So we've done check. Now see if you can find investment. So we're looking for I. Oop, here's I. Oop, there's investment. Good job if you found it before me, fourth graders. Ooh, my arrow's not moving with me. Investment, here you are. It is anything bought with the expectation that it will increase in value and earn you money. So it's anything you buy that you're hoping to earn money on. Good job using that glossary, guys. I'm sure you've had lots of practice. So, other ways you can earn money. Extra chores. Relatives or neighbors might pay you for doing extra chores. These are usually bigger jobs such as mowing the lawn, washing the car, raking the leaves, or cleaning the garage. If your parents or if your neighbors or relatives do not offer, you can ask if they have jobs you can do. Selling things. If your family has a garage sale or a yard sale, see if you can sell some of your old things. You can sell toys, clothes, or books. You can also sell things that you can make, such as bead bracelets or artwork. So down here in this caption, it says, if you're willing to work, you can find many ways to earn your own money. And that makes me think of Greg because he found so many different ways to earn money. So let's do this solve it problem. Who knew you were going to do math today during your reading lesson? Jack received $10. $10 on his birthday, 5 for raking Mrs. Smith's yard, and his monthly allowance of $16. How much money does Jack receive? And you guys are fourth graders, so I don't even need to look that answer up. You should all be able to do that math in your, if you work that out. I know you can figure that out. All right, that is all we're reading today, guys. That went by so quick. That was just unbelievable how quick that went. So now we are going to start filling out this chart. So pull it back out. If you put it away, we're still doing it today. We are going to look back at the headings on page 6. So, and hopefully those headings will help us find the main idea. So let's look back on page 6, right here. It says, where do people get money? And it says gifts, it says allowance. So this is making me think, I don't want to put a question as my main idea, but the whole main idea of these 2 pages was how people make money. So I'm going to write on here, there are many ways for people to make, there are many ways to get money and use it. So I'll show you what you're going to write. There are many ways, that is not showing very well. There are many ways to get money and use it. Move that up a tiny bit for you. Man, this is not liking me very much. So you're gonna work on that and write it in your bubble. There are many ways to get money and use it. There are many ways to get money and use it. And I kind of did it in shorthand, so you don't have to wait for me for forever. So I just did the money sign for money. So there are many ways to make money and use it. So the first one, let's look back in that text. What is one way that, let's say, adults make money? What are some ways that adults make money? Let's see. Adults receive paychecks from their jobs. So adults get money. So we're going to say adults get, and again, I'm going to just put the money sign for money, from paychecks. And what's that second thing that they get it for? From paychecks, and oop, that big word, investments. And investments. So that's all I'm going to write for that first one. I'm going to say adults get money from paychecks and investments. I know my writing's a little sloppy, guys. I'm sorry about that. Pause it here if you need to a little more time to write, but we're going to keep on moving through. Now let's focus on kids, you guys. How are ways that you can get money? Kids get money from, these are where the headings help us. We don't have to read all of it. Kids can get money from gifts, from allowance, from extra chores, and selling things. It's that easy, guys. We're just going to copy right from the book. It says kids, let's go back to the first one. Kids get money from gifts. I'm going to put a comma, allowance, comma, extra chores. Oh, I'm running out of room. Extra chores and selling things. Whew, you guys have so many ways you can make money. Crazy. So that is box number 2. Go ahead and pause it here if you need a little bit more time. I know I'm really small in that little corner right there, but that is okay. And our last thing, let's talk about what people do with their money. What can people do with their money? It was in that little box down here. What can you do with your money? You can save it, spend it, invest it, or share it. That is our last box. And I'm going to let you write that on your own. You are going to write this part down here. What can you do with your money? Save it, spend it, invest it, and share it. Pause the screen if you need to, but that is going to be your last box today, guys. And the coolest thing about this is once you fill out that organizer, you can write a summary of what we read today. You can say, take these boxes and say, Miss Lawson, I know exactly what we read today. There are so many ways to get money and use it. You know, adults get money from their jobs. Kids get money from gifts and allowance, and there are many ways you can use your money. You can save it, spend it, invest it, and share it. Boom, you just did a summary. So that is the coolest thing about these organizers. They take a little bit of time to do, but they're so worth it because you can make a summary in no time. So make sure this is your last box and you're done for today, fourth graders. That is so great. You guys killed it. So now to get to that journal entry today, and it is a fun one. I'm super excited about it because I want you to tell me, what is one new thing you learned about money? I know I learned some new stuff about money, and I just love telling that to my friends. I love learning new things. And what's one thing you want to learn about money? I just love asking questions, and I think it is such a good quality in a learner when you're constantly asking questions and want to learn more. So come up with one thing you have already learned about money that you thought was cool, and one thing you want to learn about money. Have those ready today for your teacher when you meet. And thanks for joining me today, fourth graders. I had so much fun. Make sure you come back and read with me next time. Bye, guys.